listening to the Underwater FlyZone Podcast, bro. What you doing?
This thing is long, bro.
It's almost halfway done.
Do I hear Brad Pohl?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Underwater FlyZone Podcast. I'm your host, Foster Huggins. This is episode 8 of season 5, and we got some very special guests on the podcast today. Let's start off right here. A man who's been on here a couple times.
What up? It's Spencer. If you don't know me, go watch other stuff. I don't want to introduce myself again, but I'm excited to be back.
Yes, it's his third time. No,
Fourth
time. And then we also have...
I'm Malik, a friend of Spencer and Foster's here from high school. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. Happy to be here.
Oh, yeah. Hey, me and this dude lived together for a year in college, too.
Yeah.
Crazy times. Crazy times.
A lot of waking up to random parties.
Yeah. Were you there that time that it was like 3 a.m. and we got a knock on the door and then I answered it and like 15 dudes come pouring in singing happy birthday. It was in February. Not even close to my birthday. It was like 3 a.m.
They're singing it to you?
Yes.
I was playing Call of Duty, and then I was like, all right, I need to go to the bathroom real quick, and I took my headset off, and I just hear people singing happy birthday. Looked out the window, no one's outside. I go downstairs, everyone's gone by the time I got down there.
No, it was just, dude, I get a call. And I was asleep, and it was my friend Brad, and he was like, dude, I'm outside your house, and I'm getting jumped right now. Come out here. And I was like, threw my glasses on, opened the door. Right when I opened the door, I was about to run out. I get just trampled by 15 dudes coming in. Happy birthday. It's so loud.
Your birthday's in May, isn't it?
I know, yeah. And then right when they finished, they just left. And I was just sitting there like,
They just wanted to?
Yeah.
Okay,
it
but
was
Foster
hilarious.
also gets caught with the people need help kind of thing pretty easy. Because there was ones where it was a snowstorm, and I'm sitting there, I think I was watching something, and he just opens the door. I've been home alone all morning, and he just busts in, and he was like, hey, there's a lady, her car's stuck, we got to get her. And I was like, what? And she was in front of our house, and I just kind of looked through the door. Fine, all right, let's get up. And she seemed confused that we were helping her.
I'll be honest, I'm on Foster's side on this one. Getting caught with helping people is not a bad thing.
No, it's not bad. It's just that was always the thing. So that I know that had to work for that reason.
Yeah. Dude, that was just, oh, gosh.
Well, it's like Jace, when he proposed, got away with saying he felt sick. He's the one person I know. Like, there's just, Foster's going to help people. Jace is going to be sick. It's just, certain people have certain things about them.
That's amazing.
I want to be with you forever.
All right, y'all. Well, hey, thanks for checking this episode out. We're about to jump right into it. Let's start off. Okay, first of all, me and Spencer already did a banger episode back in the summer. Go check that out if you want to hear Spencer's full story. And we're going to get a lot deeper today into that as well. But I want to start this off by having you, Malik, just introduce yourself to the people. Tell us about some of the things you've been through and why you wanted to be on this podcast. He filled out a nice application here. I mean, this got some depth to it. So
I'll be honest with you, I didn't fabricate anything on there.
Yeah.
But I cannot tell you exactly what I wrote except for one thing.
One quick thing. Malik is a known accidental capper.
Yeah.
With story. He just tells stories, and it's not that Malik's meaning to lie. He just misremembers that story quite a bit.
Yeah.
So if that happens in a story, I know I will call him out.
If things seem funny to me, I'll probably say it.
Yeah.
just cause, and no one except for you and maybe Wesley will ever say anything about it. Though you said that in front of Sammy, and now she randomly will kind of side-eye me.
Well, sometimes if it's for the humor, I'll let it happen.
Oh, yeah.
But some things are just wrong and not for the betterment of a story.
So basically, you're like me and you're like Carson. Because I'll tell a story and I'll just try to add a little bit to it to make it a little bit better. And Carson's like, hold up, it was not 10, it was 8.
Well,
Like, or
I'm
just
not-
the
no, I'm not
littlest,
gonna-
I'm like, bro, come
Well,
on.
if
No,
he's
but
a-
like I would say, like I would exaggerate like the height of some dude if we were getting like trashed on in basketball.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, we got some 7'2" dudes. But like, I mean, he's like 6'3".
Well, because he's like barely taller than us.
Yeah.
I'm like maybe 6 foot. So still,
Uh-huh.
tall.
That's a big difference.
yeah.
That's valid.
So anyway,
That's
tell us
valid.
why you're sad.
Yeah, my sadness started when I was a child. But no.
Okay, hold on. Wait,
That part's
are we
true.
serious?
That part's true.
Okay, all right, let's get into this.
No,
Let's get
but,
into this.
In short, reason I wanted to be here for this was the fact that mental health has been something that, like, since I was a kid, has come to my attention, but I didn't really know. My family and other friends are like kind of like family friends that you look at as cousins. A lot of people have dealt with a lot of issues that led to either, sadly, sometimes with suicide, ending up in jail just from doing dumb stuff for, lack of attention or lack of like understanding. And so, like from an early on age, one, my parents didn't get married. So from like the beginning of remembering things, I had my mom, my dad didn't live together, never lived together. And then you have my stepdad, and then my dad's side of the family, mom's side of the family, completely different. Dad's side, Catholic. Mom's side, Mormon. Not similar at all.
Yeah.
I went to different churches growing up. I ended up with the Mormon church for the most part up to high school, and having the church, having my two different families, having school life, all that led to me having more of an issue of being able to understand who I was, because I had to be a different person everywhere I went.
Yeah.
Church, you got to uphold certain standards, obviously. With my family, with my dad's side, more Southern heritage, yes ma'am, yes sir, no ma'am, no sir kind of vibe. A lot of respect. Also, kind of like the pick you up by your bootstraps family.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad, valedictorian. Went to college for football, full ride. He works with the government. He's had a pretty good life from what I was told as a kid. So I looked at him and was like, this is the perfect dude.
Yeah.
My dad's whole side, everyone's an educator. Everybody was good at sports. My aunt was the best in state for soccer. She was in the top 10 in state for basketball. She went to a camp that was coached by and led by Michael Jordan.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
And you have my uncle. He's a regional manager for a convenience store company. And he gets a bunch of awards and meetings and things like that. You have my grandpa. He was a professor. He was a teacher. And then he coached a lot of schools in Olathe to go into state for track and wrestling and football. My grandma's a professor still. Mm-hmm. And then you have me, who I didn't understand how to take that and look at myself in a positive way at all. It led me to try and, what most people probably do, take the things that you were told that you were good at and run with it. I was good at drawing. From an early age, I drew a lot. It was comforting for me. Did a lot of little cartoons. People were like, "Oh, you should get into being an artist." Tried being an artist. Art classes in college, I don't know for any of you that are there, they suck a lot. You sit there and you make a giant piece of paper and you draw a grid for 40 squares and you do the same thing 40 times. And that is a warm-up part 1 of 7 to going into a project that takes 2 weeks somehow. Really like cooking. My family has always been in either catering or somewhere in the lines of cooking where it's something that they're kind of known for in like their communities. So I learned to cook. I enjoyed that.
That's true. That is when
Cook
we
for-
lived together that year. Oh my goodness, we had some of the best breakfasts, best dinners ever. It was fire.
And be able to have a brunch for football is enjoyable. But I learned that, or I put in a lot of effort into going into culinary. I went to New Orleans to do cooking classes and visit different restaurants with my dad. And I was able to go into like the highest rated restaurant in New Orleans, be able to go into the kitchen, talk to the chefs, learn some things there. But all I witnessed was that everyone in there was just kind of like depressed. Everyone's either smoking weed, drinking. No one wants to be there. No one wants to really deal with the constant issues that happen in the restaurant business. That killed it for me. I was good in track. Sadly, the coaches with Ray Peck kind of turn in a way where they incentivize certain people by their names and their previous talents versus helping and seeing people as a team. So a lot of people my senior year just quit and kind of got disrespected. So I was one of those people. I was like, I don't care enough about this to stick around.
Yeah.
And a lot of, like, all those things I was told leading up in my life were things that were supposed to make me successful because I was good at them. I basically threw them all away. So I get into college, and I'm in a position where I don't really know what I wanted to do. I tried doing all that stuff again. Switched my major for, after freshman year, going to sophomore year, switched it to art. So I did art classes in college. Horrible mistake. I made a clay chicken. It may or may not still be there. It did not get finished. There was no head. I did not paint it because also we had COVID come up, and then I was in quarantine for 2 weeks, so I couldn't even do it then. But then I left Northwest from Foster, going into Wichita with Spencer, and I went there and I told myself I'm going to start the culinary program when it starts up in the spring. Did not do that. Fell into kind of a weird depression cycle where I would be chilling at home, playing video games, watching anime, random movies, hanging out with friends, going out playing volleyball and stuff. I struggled to find a job for a couple months or so. Thankfully, I have a dad that cares about me in a way where he was able to help me financially, but he was trying to get me to understand that things happen and you have to be able to move forward. Took me a while to figure that out. Thankfully, I was able to find a job, but even then, once I got to that point, when the classes opened up for culinary, I realized I didn't want to pursue it because for me, cooking is more something I like to do with friends and family. I don't want to get yelled at and have my livelihood be bent up on if I made something right for somebody. I've worked in fast food. It is not enjoyable at all. For me, there's been kind of an uprise of people also talking about how they don't understand the point of talking about mental health as if it's some kind of curse or something. Like, for all of you out there, mental health is not about depression. It is not about, suicide. It is not sitting there thinking about the end all of everything. It is your stress. It is your pains. It's your happiness. It is anything that alters the way that you look at the world. A lot of people can be positive, and when they get really happy and everything seems to be going well, they become a little selfish. They start taking advantage of their loved ones, and they don't see that And then when they get told about these things, they don't know how to handle it. And they wig out, they shut down, and they think that, oh, well, I mean, maybe people just don't understand me. And then you have people try to help them out, talk to them, be like, hey, it's like, maybe you need someone to talk to with your mental health. And then they take it as, oh, you think something's wrong with me. No, everybody needs to talk about it.
Yeah.
You can talk, like, I'll hit random people up every once in a while and just ask how they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll ask, how is your mental health? What's going on?
Yeah, and some people will be like, thinking that's weird, but in reality, it's, that's such a caring thing to do.
I haven't talked, there's, graduated like 6 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people I have not talked
Bro,
to.
I swear. That's so
And
true.
I'm not, if I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to be honest, I don't like texting people.
Yeah.
If I'm going to talk to you, I have a purpose.
Yeah.
Also, if I'm going to talk to you, I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, man, I saw you got a dog. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't got time for that. Like, I'm trying to talk about some
I got a
real
dog
stuff.
too.
Dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, leave you on red and have a good one.
See you in 3 years.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
See you at some random wedding that I didn't know you also got invited to. And then I have to sit at the table and talk to you awkwardly while we eat this okay chicken.
So you're saying if you're hitting somebody up, it's for a purpose. That's I feel that for sure.
Everybody needs somebody.
Which makes the fact that me and him text constantly every day mean a lot more. Like
Yeah.
me and Malik have a constant conversation. I mean, it might be 6-10 hours between responses, but one of us has an unread message to the other at all times.
That's fire.
Yeah.
So, and then it's funny because there's no boundary really. I could be talking about how my dog peed in front of me, just looking me in the eye, and then all of a sudden we're talking about how we may be feeling like a little bit inadequate in something. That just happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's all over the place. And yeah, the conversations it'll swing so quickly. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Always have someone. I mean, I live with my fiance, so I'm always talking to her. But besides that, I talk to Malik way more than anyone else, and it's just always whatever I'm thinking. I'll text Malik that all the time.
So are you thinking as you've grown up, you've always been trying to find who am I? What is my identity? What is that thing I'm good at? Is that something you've been struggling with?
I'm still figuring that out now.
Yeah.
But yeah, every so often I get into a weird point where I think that I'm finally figuring stuff out, and then something goes wrong, and then immediately I'm just like, I'm always messing up. I don't know what to do. And then I start thinking about all the dumb mistakes I've made as if everybody is perfect.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I have a girlfriend that looks at me and she's like, you do understand that you're not a screw up, right? And she grab my face. I'm like, okay.
Calm down.
I got it. But yeah, it's a weird point to sit there and realize that you've spent most of your life being what other people want you to be. Because I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of people who know me in very different ways.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who friends, family of friends, people's parents. He's such a nice, polite guy. He seems so quiet. And other people might want me to shut up sometimes.
Yeah.
I understand that. That just probably means I'm either more comfortable with you or you make me really anxious and I don't know what to say for you to stop looking at me the way you do. But it's especially not being in high school or being physically in college anymore.
Yeah.
Where I'm not constantly being around people. It's a weird point to sit there and you're in your apartment and you're just looking at the TV and you're just like, who am I?
Yeah.
Me and Malik talked about this 2 weeks ago. I went my entire life I always called it a mask. I always became who I thought people needed me to be. And it caused me a lot of anxiety. And I didn't realize that's what it was until a few years ago. But I am a very anxious person. Earlier today, I was I'm anxious for the podcast. And Malik was like, why? I was like, I don't know. I'm just anxious.
That's fair.
I just always, everything I am going to, I went to school for 3.5 years. I go to easy class, and before, oh my God, I'm nervous. I faked being sick to miss out on things because I just get so anxious. Like
Really?
it gets bad, and for no reason. And my two things that I wanted to talk about here was the mask. I went my whole life, and I don't know who I am. Like I legit, if you're like be yourself, I don't know what that means. I'm always thinking like, oh, who do they want me to be right now? Like I'm so focused on being who I'm with needs me to be, and then I have 100 different versions of me because I have a different person for each group, and then if two groups like are together at the same time, I have to be like an in between of those where they both still think of me as the person that they need me to be. And then at some point I'm sitting there and like I know a few things that are like very core to me, but I don't know who I am. And it's very difficult. And then the other thing was just how anxious I get as a person. Like it is debilitating at times. And I've tried to work towards it, but it just feels like I don't know how to talk about it or how to fix it because most of my issues feel like me things and it weren't things. It's not like things that other people did to me. It's all stuff that I thought of or stuff that I do to myself, and I don't know how to talk about that. It's like, oh, why are you anxious? And it's goes, oh, because I overthought this thing, and then I went down a spiral, and then all of a sudden I'm scared, and now I don't want to go to work because I'm anxious that I'm gonna mess up this thing, and I just spiral, and it's all stuff that's just me too. So I don't know how to fix it, but yeah, before going to work, I'm anxious. I've done this job for 3 summers, and I'm now I'm qualified for it.
Yeah.
I'm not like a seasoned podcaster, but I had 3 of my own podcasts. This is my fourth episode. You guys are 2 of my best friends. Like, there's nothing to be anxious about. And I'm sitting here like at work, just like tapping my leg, like struggling to breathe. Like my breath gets short at the easiest of things. And I was nervous to go see my sister in St. Louis because it's like, I don't see her that often. I hope this weekend's good. And then I go to places and it's fine, and it always is. Yeah. But I miss out on things and I skip things because I'm nervous of what could happen, and that what could happen never does when I go.
Do you think you're nervous because you care too much?
I think I care too much about things being right. Like it's that mask where like I come to this and I'm just gonna come and I'm gonna talk. And the not knowing who I am, I've gotten better at just like being comfortable. But I'm worried I'm gonna come on this and I'm gonna say stuff that like I'm worried. Oh, I want an Instagram reel. I want a clippable quote. I'm nervous. What if it's not good? Like and it's just a spiral of thinking that isn't logical. Like it doesn't make sense. But like I talked about it in my psychology class in high school. The teacher said the hardest part about when people like when you're having issues with mental health or something, you can't rationalize the thinking because the thinking itself is irrational. So it's like, yeah, rationally I could think, Spencer, you're probably going to say something that sounds cool. And if not, even if you don't, that's fine. That's not the point of the podcast. The point is just to go talk. Yeah. But that's rational. Irrationally, I'm not. That doesn't help. That doesn't right the path. It's putting diesel in a truck that doesn't need it. Like it just doesn't make sense. And so that's what happens is I'm thinking irrationally. So I can't get myself. It just time has to pass and then it fixes and things are fine and they always are. I'll be fine, but. Yeah, it just there's not a reason. I didn't have parents who weren't married. I didn't have one of my best friends commit suicide. Like I feel like most of my life has just been me kind of doing things to myself. I've never had a true motivation for things, which is also it's an excuse and it's not true. Like you don't have to have an event to make things worse, but I just feel like everything that I've done has been Spencer did it to Spencer, not someone else did it to me usually.
I really like this episode so far because it's a different type of mental health topic, because it's so far I've done 3 or 4 episodes that all been about suicide and grief and all this. I feel like there's so many people out there that can relate to what you two are saying, and I can as well in some points. The only problem is like I don't have that great of advice for you guys about this, so I'm trying to sit here and think. But.
I mean, I think part of it is it's not that this will go away, it's learning how to deal with it. Yeah. And that's my biggest thing is for so long I tried to fight, like, oh, just don't be an anxious person. I think I'm going to have anxiety the rest of my life. But at some point, I won't think of it as that. It's just going to be a part of my life, and I'll move on, and it's fine. Yeah. And that's kind of what I started working towards. It's helped me. And I say helped. I think switching the mentality is all that's really happened so far. But it's not, I was so worried about not being anxious as opposed to now I'm just trying to use it and learn through it. And so that's the best I can give if someone related to what I said is don't, like, I think my anxiety is part of me, and it's part of what makes me good in certain things. Is I'm so worried about doing things right that it makes me do things right and do things better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like learning and using that path. Oh, I'm anxious because I do social media stuff for work. Oh, I'm worried it's not going to hit. So I'm going to really care and make sure and take my time to make sure this is good because I don't want that anxiety to come true. And so learning to like fuel it and direct it in the right way has been a help. There's a long way to go, but it's been big so far.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. But all right, well, I think we could get into this little application here. Malik's application, the one of the longest ones.
Do you want to cut and then so that way
Sure,
we don't
we'll
cut
do that,
Malik
we'll
off
do
in the
that.
middle of it?
Yeah, and I actually have before we get into that, I have one more thing I want to say, but we'll fix this. All right, we're back. Before I say what I was gonna say, Malik was saying something during the break. You can continue.
No,
We were like, stop what you're saying. Wait for us to get back.
It was along the lines of your anxiety. Like, everybody's got, I think, weird, obscure things that you don't realize that you may have tied with your anxiety. Nice drink there.
I thought I
Did not turn it down at all.
Did not work.
But like I hate, like I like giving gifts. I hate figuring out what to give someone. I have a girlfriend that I've been with her, like the relationship has been over a year now, and my gifts are like I sit there and I try to be like practical about stuff. Can't always do that. I sit there and be like, I thought you'd really like this because you can do with this and that. No, sometimes you just you don't think practically about flowers. The flowers.
Yeah.
Like, there have been times where I sat there and I'm like, I'm going to give her flowers because they're just going to die and she's going to see them. And then I'm like, hey, that's not really the point. But there have been times where, like Valentine's Day, I was cool like a month before. Because I'm like, I'm going to get this, this, and this. I ordered a couple things, and the other thing I'm going to get closer to the time. It'll be fine. I got one of those, like the bar necklaces, but it had our names on them, and it had the date of our anniversary, and it had the date that we met, because I met her at work when I moved back to KC. There was that. I had gotten her one originally, I want to say around our 1 year anniversary, but the chain broke, so I wanted to replace it for her. She was really sad about that. The other stuff, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't remember now because I know one of them fell through like in the delivery, and the other one I looked at it and I was like, this is stupid, and I threw it away. And the like week going up to Valentine's Day, I was just freaking out because I didn't know what to do. And then I ended up going and I got, her favorite snacks, candies, and things. And I got a bunch of stuff to give her, like I was gonna be like a masseuse and a personal spa day. Got her stuff, take a nice bath, the different face masks, eye things. I didn't know they had hand masks. You just gloves you put on your hands and make them softer. I don't know. Had her soak her feet, gave her a massage, everything, and then I got little, what are they called? Canvases and paints, and we just sat there and we watched our show together and we painted. And when I thought about it, I'm like, cool, I'm gonna do this. I got it. Everything's cool. And then the second she got home, and then I was like about to present it to her, I just felt dread. So I was like, this is good. No, what girl will want to do this on Valentine's Day? She wants to go out to dinner. She wants to do this, that, which that's partially social media affecting my brain, which I'm happy I don't look at it too much anymore. But she loved it. She's happy. I did this little painting of the two of us, and she went out, bought a frame. She took pictures of it. She sent it to everybody. I had random people messaging me. They're like, you are the cutest boyfriend ever. I'm like, all right, I guess it worked. But, yeah, like, you just made me think. Anxiety is weird because there's no, like you said, there's no rationality to it. It just happens. And it really messes with stuff because unless you have like kind of the right people around you, and unless you can catch yourself, you just start spiraling. And I've had many, many social events that I've missed out on, and I said I was sick, or I said something came up, because 5 minutes until I was supposed to leave, I was just like, I don't want to do this. I'll like make up an excuse. Wait, there's one person there that's gonna make the whole time gonna be miserable.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do it. There's no real reason. I had like 20 friends at a party. Could have gone, had a great time. I made up one person I met once. And I was like, nope, that's it for me. Why would I can just sit here and play video games when my friends are also out at the party, so I'm not going to be playing with them.
Yeah.
And then I'm just depressed at home. Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Go hang out with people. You don't even have to, if you don't like I don't like bars or like big things with people. I'll hang out with my friends. It's a good time. Don't put yourself in weird situations that like you're gonna freak out about, but it's okay to be uncomfortable around comfortable people. Learn to do that a little bit.
Yeah.
Preach.
That anxiety thing, like the thing I was gonna say is, do you think you're a perfectionist?
About myself, yeah.
Because the thing I've kind of tried to work on in the past couple of years is giving up the idea of this needs to be perfect and just understanding that, no, I just need to do my best. It doesn't need to be perfect. I just need to do my best.
I guess perfectionist probably isn't the right word, but I set high standards.
Yeah.
And then I'm not good at seeing that I reached most of a goal. I might have talked about this in one of the other episodes, but like if my goal is like 100, like on a scale, just to number it, even if perfect is like 150 or whatever, my goal is to get to 100. And I get 85, that's really good. Like getting most of a goal should be really, especially for a lot of stuff where I set a standard that's probably too high, but I don't see it as, oh, I got 80, I did really good. I see it as I didn't reach what I wanted. And so it's not that I want perfect, but I want too good. I said, and I can reach high expectations, but understanding that you're not going to reach this really high goal every time, in everything you do is kind of where I'm at. So it's like I don't need perfect, but I need pretty dang good. And if I don't reach it, I can't put it in perspective.
Yeah. I feel like this is gonna come out wrong, but I feel like, remember when I asked you, do you think you care too much? I feel like I don't care at all about a lot of stuff. So like one thing, and this is why I said this is gonna come out wrong. When I painted the mural to engage to Macy, like to get engaged to Macy and propose, I really was like, this is gonna come out so bad. But I was like, if she, I was like, this is my best. This is what I want. This is what I'm gonna do, and I know she's gonna love it. But if she didn't, I'm like, well, it was my best, So I wasn't
that context was super important.
It's like, it's already here.
Because you started.
It's like this is my best work. And I just didn't worry about, is she going to like it or not? I was just okay with it being the best I could do.
Right. You did if she didn't like it, she wouldn't have liked anything you could have done.
Yeah.
That context makes it important. Not, I just really didn't care about the mural when I
proposed. No.
The start was bad.
Yeah, okay. I very much cared about it. It was a whole thing.
For a sign.
That context, I think that's a super healthy mindset.
Well, because here's the thing, like leading up to it, I kept thinking, how should I do this? And I was trying to come up with all these ideas that I felt like were more formal or more, maybe good for the outside perspective. Like someone might look at this and be like, that was really neat. That was really cool.
Why is he in the woods?
Yeah, and then I just was like, you know what? No, I'm going to do exactly what I know is me. And I know that what is me is what is her, because freaking engaged.
To be fair, you ended up with probably the most like picture perfect proposal of anyone I purposely know.
Thank you,
So like,
bro.
I think I think anything else you did would have not been as true to you. Like you went to where your first date was. You did, like it was sick, and it was pretty good for pictures too.
Bro, it was fire. But I was like gonna dress all nice and stuff at some restaurant up in Maryville, like our favorite restaurant. And I was just like,
that's not you.
Nah, that ain't me.
Did you know that in my engagement pictures there is an Underwater FlyZone mural in the back in one of them? We were in a tunnel and we didn't like pose in front of it, but there's one where you can see it and it's on my lock screen.
With this logo.
It's that logo, which is sick. Yeah. Fun fact. We didn't know, like I didn't plan it. We didn't take any pictures in front of it. There was one she got of us going to where we were going to take pictures, and the other side is in the background.
Did you even know, did you even notice when you were there?
Yeah. No, I pointed it out. But there was no offense. There was one that was a little bit more
no.
engagement photos.
Yeah.
It was like a mix of stuff on the other side.
It was like 30 degrees when we painted that. Were you trying?
I mean, no, it looked cool. It was
Yeah.
awesome, but it was also bigger, whereas the other one had like multiple. So that was But no, it was sick, and that's the one that's one of my favorites. It's on my computer lock screen, which is sick.
You sent me that one time, but yeah, I don't know. I think that's just the example of how my mindset is. It's like I'm gonna do my best, and if people don't like it, like sorry, it's my best. You know.
I think part of it, a good metaphor is sports. It's like even professional athletes, they're not 100%. They're not doing everything that they're able to do every time. And it's like I play pickleball and I'm like, oh, I can hit that shot. And I didn't hit it this one time.
Yeah.
That's I think my perspective, and it's a bad one, is like, oh, I could do this. I have done this. I can do this. But that doesn't mean you're going to do that best every time. But it's, I know I have, or I know I can, or I know I will do up to this level. So if I'm not hitting my best every time is where it's tough. Even if my best isn't perfect, it's like I've been there and I know how to get there. And when I don't is where it's hard.
Yeah. And I feel the other thing I was gonna say too. This is what I was gonna say originally, is this is something that I've just been really thinking about during this season, because I don't always want to talk about the same things, you know. But this is like a realization, because I feel like a lot of times I come on here, I talk about rock bottom, I talk about there's purpose in your pain, like the same things I kind of always talk about. Something literally, I mean, I love talking about that stuff, but something that I'm really trying to hit on now is something else I've realized going through my situation. It's like when Kyle passed away and that whole thing happened, I always felt like this was not supposed to happen, you know? And I said this in an episode that I did last night with Lauren Downey, so you might have already seen it, but that specific situation, it was horrible, and I don't know if you know, God's glory, whatever it is, and I don't know what happened, but I'm just saying bad things in life are supposed to happen. Like, the situation itself, whatever, but the fact is that bad things are going to happen in your life no matter what. And like seasons where you just are struggling, kind of like I'm in right now personally. I haven't even told you guys about this, but like just in a rut of waking up every day and being like, oh my gosh, you know, like I don't want to get up today. Like those things are going to happen. And I feel like I always grew up with the expectation of things are always going to be perfect. I'm going to have a good day every day. And that's just not reality, you know? So I think it's okay to struggle and to have anxiety issues and to not necessarily know what you want to do and stuff, because that's part of life. And I know that I get lost. I was going to say this to you earlier. I get lost in comparison a lot, where I'm just like, bruh, how do I not have it figured out? And then this kid that's younger than me is making $500,000 a month. Like, you see these YouTube videos, it's like how to make, and then I click the video and it's like, man, I made $10K last month, and I just realized that's not any money. That's not a lot of money at all. And I'm just like, bro, I won't make $10K in the next 6 months. Yeah, I'm like, what are you?
Like, I've never seen $10K.
Dude, exactly. So it's like I get lost in this comparison so much, and then I start beating myself up like I'm supposed to be this version of some random person on the internet, when in reality they could be absolutely capping, like not telling the truth at all, or they could be living in a whole different, you know, privileged mindset, or they could have just got lucky. Regardless, I need to be grateful for what I have. Yeah. I think gratitude is everything.
Yeah. Dude, you were talking about how you've been in a rut right now. I have been too, and I've been thinking about it. One, seasonal depression and like seasonal moods, absolutely true. Like when it's cold, you're gonna be like down. And
then when it teases you by getting hot,
I was gonna say this up and down, I think, has been killing me. The time change, I wake up and it's way too dark. Yeah. I like that it's lighter later. Like I like this time change.
Light out right now. But
but like I wake up and it's dark. That's not great. I leave and I'm like, oh, it's 70 degrees, sick. And then the next morning I'm like 34, sick. Like I thought I could pack my jeans up for the.
It was cloudy today.
Yeah, thought my hoodies were done, and that I think has genuinely been a roller coaster. Like there's just been so much. I graduated 2 months ago. Like I've been, my whole life in the last 3 months has been a crazy roller coaster. Like I went from like college student involved heavily in a fraternity and a volleyball club, and 3 months later there's very few people from college that I still talk to consistently. I've graduated. I have a full-time job. I'm a manager. I'm a manager of people. I'm doing like so much has changed. I'm planning a wedding. Like so many things have changed, and that has been a lot on top of just normal life stuff that's going to happen to everyone. And this isn't like a woe me. Like I'm just dealing with life. It's what it is. But there's just been so much. I don't know, it's been a lot, and those ruts are just like it's part of life. Like it's going to happen, and I'm gonna grow and be better from it. But like right now, there's a lot going on. And like I said, I'm such an anxious person that I think that that's just made it harder. Because I don't know. I just can't breathe.
I relate to everything you just said, bro. Going from being in college, I just remember being at Northwest and literally top of the world, bro. Every day I woke up, I was literally ready to just eat, bro. I was like, let's go. Every day I was hyped. And then now every day I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to work today. And I'm going to get home at 4:30 and have no energy to do any of the things I actually want to do. And yeah, dude, it's a life change for sure.
And I said I would go to bed at 8 if it was socially acceptable. Like, I'm just tired all the time.
Yeah.
No matter what time I go to bed, more sleep, less sleep, whatever.
Well, Spencer, I texted you at 7:45. Why didn't you answer?
My mom was like, "Did you see my text?" I go, "No." And I was like, "When did you send it?" She's like, 9:15. I go, "I was asleep for 40 minutes. I fell asleep at 8:30 that night." And it
Yeah.
just happens.
What?
And it went from in college. I had that feeling like when I was in a rut in college, it was like you feel alone in a room full of people.
Yeah.
Now I feel alone in a room of not a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
it's a different kind of. You go to work, and I'm friendly with people at work. I talk to them, and it's nice, but I don't have work friends. Like, I leave. I mean, there's someone in McKenna's family that works there, so I see them outside of it. But like, I just don't get to see and have that social interaction as much, and I'm okay with it. I enjoy it. I like that my life is slowed down. I've like been waiting for it.
Yeah.
But that change just hit like a truck.
It
like
does, yeah,
it was
it
like
does.
it was like a week and a half turnaround. I went from like seeing people all the time, especially because graduation weekend, everyone wants to like say, I want to say goodbye to everyone. I'm seeing them. I'm in a big graduation on that Saturday grad party, Sunday graduation, Monday move home. Tuesday I'm alone. What just happened?
Yeah, no,
a week
that's
ago I was
so
on top
true.
of the world, and then
It
just and I'm like, it's like, this is what you've been waiting for. And it's like, yeah, but I didn't know it was gonna happen that quickly.
Yeah, bro.
Here
And you
I
think you
am.
could still do the same things that you used to do, but you just literally don't have the energy. That's part of the reason that year straight of podcast never happened. Bro, I couldn't. I literally,
Yeah.
I was trying to plan it out, and I'm just like, I remember, I told you earlier, it was when we did our episode, I was just like, afterwards, I was like, I don't have time to make reels. Because I have to plan the next episode, and then I have to make these reels.
I have that effect on people.
But no, dude, it's something that we all go through. Something that's helped me though is just remembering to be grateful for everything. It's like the things that I complain about, I feel like such a loser for complaining about. I'm like, bro, there are
Absolutely.
people out here really going through it. Like Connor is in the hospital right now.
Yeah, I think that comparison is hard because you don't want to, like, obviously, yeah, other people are going through things that are harder, and that is absolutely true. And so it's like, yeah, who am I to complain? But at the same time,
You don't want to degrade your own issues.
does that mean only one person in the world can be in a bad mood?
100%
Because one
true.
person has to be worse. And I'm not, because I do the same thing. I demean my issues for the exact same thing
Yeah.
because it's irrational thinking. Then when it's like, no, there more than one person in the world can have a bad time,
Yeah.
can be in a bad mood. But at what point is it? Because other times it's like you don't want to make your life worse by complaining about things that don't deserve it. So it's like, yeah, this probably isn't that big of an issue that, oh, I forgot to buy chicken when I went grocery shopping. Yeah, deal with it. Make the mac and cheese that's sitting on the pantry. Like, that's not a big issue. Put it in comparison. Some people don't have food. That's not an issue. But me being anxious and not being able to breathe because I have that's a real issue.
Yeah,
even
for
though
sure.
other people have cancer and are in the hospital. Like, that balance, and there's no right way to do it. I don't know. My answers keep being that. It's like, I don't know the answer, but here's the problem. But
no, that's just something that I keep thinking about though. I see some of my students and they have cerebral palsy, you know, like can't walk the best and stuff, and I'm just like, bro, regardless, I should be grateful for the body I have. Like just little things like that. I'm like, and then I also, with the kind of not seeing people ever, I hang out with literally elementary. The kids I see most are elementary age kids.
Yeah.
So that's affected my mindset a little bit. Like conversation starters, I used to say something like, I don't know, just some cool stuff like, how's volleyball been or something like that. Now it's like, hey, what's your favorite color? It's like little stupid, like little
I
things.
really
that,
like blue, but I don't know what kind of blue.
no, that's how I talk to the kids though, bro.
I feel like I have the opposite where the place I work is like 15, 17 people. There's 3 other people in their 20s. Everyone else is like 35 and older. And
Yeah.
like, I'm the boss of someone who's 38 and someone who's 73. Like, I'm just talking with people that aren't, and it's fine. Like, it's making me grow up, but I'm having the opposite where I forget how to talk to people that are my age and younger. Like,
Interesting.
let's talk about taxes. No, I don't want to. I'm 22. Why am I talking about taxes?
I
Yeah.
was with a lady. I was sitting there and I was stressing out about with whether or not to stay with my job because it sucked. And she just kind of started talking to me about, she was just like, yeah, you know, I think she's turning 80 this year. She's like, yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I just remember when I was younger, like, you know, people like you and me, we weren't really around each other too well. We were around each other. And I was like, Maxine, why are you talking about segregation? And she was like, you know, and I kind of did not too great things, but I've learned from it. And just kind of
You're just like, hold up, lady. What are we talking?
all right, as long as you're cool now, Maxine.
No,
let's go with it.
I actually had the opposite experience of the person that I work with that was 73 today. It like I was gonna come in way sadder to this podcast, but then me and him had a conversation today because I was saying I have no clue what like my thing is. You were talking about it earlier. You were trying to find what you taking what you were good at, make it your thing. I really struggle with that because I've always had something, even if it was like I'm the guy who'd been in a relationship for a while. I'm not the only guy. I have 2 friends that are engaged. Foster's getting married before. Like I don't have that anymore. I don't have anything that was like my thing. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what it's going to be. I feel like the only thing I could see was like when I become a dad, because I can't wait to be a dad and I think I'm going to be a good dad. And I was talking about this and he goes, you know, he's been a professor. He's been a principal. He's been a teacher. He's been he's done so much stuff.
Wow.
He has crazy life. He had his last kid he got from, I think like his sister-in-law or something when he was 56. He got a kid, like restarted fatherhood when all his kids, crazy life. Love listening to him. He sat down. He was like, Spencer, I think it's a bad mindset for you to think of you as like a thing, because I've had each point in my life have been defined by a thing. But when you leave, if you had one thing that was your thing, that wasn't a life worth living. He's like, at different points, I've had different things. I'm now 73 and I've had all of these things that have defined me. And I would much rather have a wide array of things that I did slowly and grew than one thing. And like, that changed my mindset because I was going to come in sad about not having a purpose in life.
Yeah.
And he made me think like, I don't need to have a purpose for my life. I need to have a purpose for me today in this, what I'm doing. And like crazy changed my mindset.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sid.
Shout out Sid.
It's one of the few things of old people I've heard recently that was good.
Yeah, he's so smart. He still teaches. He's a professor part-time at Avila. And then when he's not there, he's my employee, which is crazy. Yeah, I know.
Your employee?
Yeah.
My gosh.
I'm the boss of a man who changed my life outlook. No, he's great. He's awesome. I've worked with him in the last 2 summers. Like he's such a good dude, and he's so wise. And I'm gonna send him this clip when this comes out to show him this thing in the show. I talked about Sid.
That's fire.
But yeah, no, that like literally changed my mood. Like I'd been in a bad rut for like a couple weeks, like panic attacks most days, like struggle. I was gonna come in sad boy hours talking about how sad and that like changed, because that was a huge part of it. Was I just felt like I was just kind of like living life, but now it's like, oh, I'm living life.
No, literally, bro. Everything that we go through is an experience that defines us. It's like it's all worth something. Everything we go through is worth something.
Yeah, even the bad. Yeah, even the bad. Like I mean, it's the saying. It's like you learn more from your failures. But my ruts and my depressive episodes and my 4 therapists, like I've learned more from the things that have led to that and those things than I have from, when I was doing great. Like, yeah, cool, that's awesome. Those are my high moments. But I'm not learning anything. Like when I'm succeeding, I'm just there and I'm like, But when I'm failing, I'm like, I need to get out of this. So then I learn something and I grow from it.
Pain is progress, bro.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And then, no, that's so true. At the end of my life, I definitely I've thought about that same thing. I'll talk to my parents about, they're like, what do you want to do for the next 30 years? I'm like, a bunch of different things, bro.
Don't ask me that right now.
I'm like, I want to do a ton of different things. I don't want to do anything for 30 years. I want to do like 10 different things at least, you know? So, I don't know. And I look back at my life and I'm like, well, I ran that wiffle ball league. It's still going, hopefully. It's like, that was great. And then...
You're a PE coach.
Dude, I know, but...
Just tell them.
This summer, I do not want to see any of them, bro.
I'll be honest, if I showed up and I saw like a bunch of little kids walking around,
you'd probably leave.
And I'd be like, all right, I'm going to
new age.
do this in like 30 minutes, see what's going on.
Yeah.
Deuces.
But it's like, I'm like, okay, so I've done that in my life. Clothing brand, podcast. This won't even last forever. I've told people like, they're like, bro, I can't wait to see where this is at in 10 years. I'm like, 10 years. Like, holy crap, I'm still gonna be doing this in 10 years. Like I don't, dude, it's like enjoy everything while it's there. Like I enjoyed the most out of wiffle ball while that was happening. I'm trying to enjoy the most out of this podcast and brand because I got more things in my future that I want to get into. Hopefully this motivational speaking takes off. I have 2 huge hour-long speaking gigs coming up at the end of this month.
That's awesome.
At a church and then a sorority at Mo State that lost one of their sister girls to suicide. So it was Julia Dorweiler's actually.
Yeah.
And I reached out. I was like,
okay. I thought you were saying it was her.
No.
I just talked to Noah.
Yeah, no, it was her sorority.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, is there any way I could come speak at a chapter meeting? They're like, actually, we're having this thing coming up and you could be the speaker for it. I was like, let's go. Let's go then.
Yeah. You always talk about it's a saying, you die twice, the time you take your last breath, and the last time people talk about you. I used to want that to be like a huge gap. Like I want to be remembered and have this thing. I don't care if it is 6 seconds apart. I just want it to be every person I know in my life to like enjoy me for what I was then. And it's like I don't care if like how long that lasts. And I really don't care about making a lasting impact on anyone that isn't like my kid. I hope my kids remember me. But,
Yeah.
But like I used to want to be like famous and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Like I just want people in the moments that I'm in to remember me as a good person for who I was right then.
Dude, literally, bro. That's kind of the whole thing I've been on lately. It's like, what is your why in life? What is the reason? Why do you do the things that you do? And my why has definitely shifted recently to more of that type of thing. Like it used to be like, I need to make an impact. I need to change everybody's life. Like I need to change the world. Now it's like, I need to become a man so I can provide for the kids that I'm hopefully going to be having soon. Like I want to have like kids and be a dad and like raise them up. So
the ideal life for me is that Mr. Clean commercial. Where that but with a beard. And that's just me. Like I like maybe work part-time, but watch the kid. Like absolutely think like I want my kids to know me for a great person and talk about me forever. And then everyone else is like, I hope they think I'm nice. And then I don't really care past that.
Do you remember that podcast we did on your old podcast with Patty where I was talking about when I grow up, I want to have a wiffle ball field in my backyard and all that?
Yeah.
It's changed to now it's like when I grow up, I want to come home from work and my kids are in the garage shipping hoodies and t-shirts. Like they're completely trained.
Yeah.
They're just doing, no.
I'm working for you, Dad. It'll be okay.
Yeah, we got 30 orders shipped today, Dad.
I've honestly kind of grown as well to like, I used to want my kids to do these things. I like the things I'm passionate about. I hope they take. I hope I don't have anything I'm that passionate about, and I can see my kids grow into whatever they want to do,
That's
and I can step
facts.
into that. Like I volleyball, like that just happened randomly, but I never really football, for example. I didn't play football past second grade. McKenna never did. We're not huge into it. If I had a kid that all of a sudden loved football and then I got to get into it because of my kid, that'd be awesome. Or like
on the sideline every game.
that's like the only sport I could use because every other sport I played at least a decent. One of us played like baseball. We didn't, but she did softball, so that's close. Baseball, softball's
You
there.
played
like,
football, bro. I remember getting trucked by you.
I did
RFL.
RFL. There was I hit a growth spurt before everyone else. That's how I learned. Connor had cancer.
He sent me like, yeah.
I know. I hit a growth spurt, and then everyone else did, and I was like, this isn't fun anymore. I was the big kid that couldn't. I had bad lungs. I couldn't breathe, but you gave me the football, and I'd run through someone, and then I couldn't do that anymore. And then I was just the dude that was the same size as everyone else that couldn't breathe very well.
I was the guy that was taller than everyone, and now I'm the tiniest guy.
Yeah. Now I'm just kind of like there.
Faster than most people.
You were quick.
I'm losing it.
Yeah.
Hey, you're getting old.
I know.
Yeah.
23, bro.
I'm
all right.
23. I got bad knees.
Dude, same.
I had an 8-inch growth spurt in 2 years, so that part I know you can't relate to.
All right, I'm gonna switch the camera one more time. Okay. Hey, you know it's a good one. We got to switch it 2 times. Well, we gotta. You guys also gotta think of a challenge because I'm bringing that back.
Oh, sick. Thanks for the heads up, bud.
I had literally Lauren
challenge?
Downey's episode yesterday. I just threw it on her.
Sick.
I was like,
Huh?
a challenge
That's
to the
all-
people that are watching. What should they do?
You follow icon pools.
We're not going in. We're not doing that just yet. But we're gonna. Okay, we were supposed to get into these questions. and we never
You
did.
got a dinner to go to.
Oh my goodness. All right, we'll make this quick.
Yeah, we'll wrap up.
What are 3 main points that you want to focus on? So let's briefly go through all 3. First would be a phrase I came up with, which is called. You read that.
Is this part of the? Are we? Is this?
Yeah, we're live.
We're live.
We
Sick.
are going.
Oh, okay. So, how do I put this? a way that I like to look at myself growing up when I was a different person all the time with different people was being a chameleon kid. I told you that. Where it wasn't me, like, showing different sides of me. It was just adapting to whoever I was around. Like you said that, like, when you're with certain people, you kind of fill a void that you can see there. I would sometimes do that, or other times it was, one, being one of the very few black people in Ray Peck from kindergarten all the way through high school. It's really weird. Some people sat there and they're just like, Malik, black kid, funny. Yeah. He has to be funny. And I'm like, all right, I guess. And it's like, we're playing basketball at recess. You gotta be good. Like, I will dominate a kickball. I can shoot. I'm too fast to dribble for my own good now, so my handles are not there. I'm not scared to admit it. I don't care. People judging me on that. What was the second point? Oh, second was being true to yourself and your desires. And the point I wanted to make on that was that Foster is the one person that I've known my entire life that, at least outwardly, has not cared about what he does and how it, like, impacts other people's view of him. One, because you're not really doing things that are bad.
Yeah.
You're not going out, throwing up gang signs, talking about how you're going to beat people up that, don't really identify with you and your image.
Mm-hmm.
One, because your image is for everybody. You'd have points where you're trying to be positive, and a lot of people who aren't having, like, good internal feelings on themselves and the world don't like other people being positive. And I'll just be sitting there and I'll, like, be playing video games when we live together, and someone's like, is Foster okay? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And it was like, well, like, he's posting all these clips and motivational things, and it seems kind of annoying. Like, what are you talking about?
Bro, you're telling me. I've heard that.
What are you mad about?
Yeah.
Are you sad? You
Yeah.
need to listen to it? You can. Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Foster also, even, like, when you use hindsight and, like, you did things for the wrong, like, if you did a year of podcast and look back and realized you shouldn't have, even when you do things you feel like you should have, you do them in ways that you want to. Like, you don't care about, at least in the application of things, even when you are motivated by other people. And I think that's the most impressive part. Like, let me tell you, if I only drink water and milk my whole life, I'd, like, try Gatorade at least once. Like,
Yeah.
just even little stuff like that. Like, you are Foster. You're going to be who you want to be. I talked about it. I might have on all of the episodes, how, like, you are an inspiration, specifically in that aspect. The entire time. I've known you for 20 years. Maybe not that much.
Something
But
like
most of them, like, it impresses me how well you do that.
Well, thanks, boys. I appreciate that.
Somebody who ate mayo and cheese sandwiches all the time in high school that I knew you, and you, like me, very susceptible to peer pressure in terms of, like, someone looking at me a little funny. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do that tomorrow.
There's still times I think you should have been the peer pressure. The mayo and cheese is weird. Like, you
Mayo
should. Like, I'm impressed that you
Cheesy,
didn't care
bro.
what
It's a
people.
cheesy.
We sit at lunch, and, like, someone would make fun of him, and I'm like, yeah, but Foster's in better shape than all of us at this table, so I can't say anything.
Like, I'm impressed you don't care, but I wish you did.
Just a little bit.
One time he goes, I would just eat white bread if that was normal. He's like, I just eat it for the bread. Weird.
Which
Sorry,
is
you
not
go to your
true.
third
Which is
point.
not true.
You go to your
bro.
third
That
point. No,
is
that's
so
absolutely
funny.
true.
And the third point is on the fact that people need to understand that not everyone in your life fits where you want them to. If you have people who, everybody's got somebody you can see them, like, 2 times a week. Everything's cool. You love them.
Mm-hmm.
You could not live with this person. Like, you couldn't see them all the time.
Yeah.
Because they're just not that person for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's all kinds of people like that. Sometimes it's your family. Like, for me, I know with my family, once I moved out, my relationship with my mom grew, like, 10 times. purely just because like there's no way for us to be at each other's throats when like we feed off of each other's energy a lot. It's like if she's upset, I'm upset. I don't know why she's upset, but if we don't communicate that, I can't figure it out, then I'm just mad, and I can't do that all the time. It is draining. Now I just ask her like, "How's your mental health doing? Well, what's going on?" And she'll let me know. And when I see her every Sunday for family dinner, great time. My siblings, I'm happy that I see them once a week because I can't do that.
Yeah.
My little brother wants to play catch, and that's fine, but I'm not playing catch with you for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I just want to sit, eat, and play like Phase 10 and listen to my family yell at each other. Like, yeah, try to look at people in your life, see, think like if this person's been stressing me out, and you've contemplated like maybe I just don't want to be friends with this person. That may be true, or it may just be that you just have them in the weird spot. You're looking at them in the wrong way. Some people suck sometimes, and that's fine. We all suck sometimes to other people, but like give people a chance. Understand also that everyone's going through something for them. It may not be the same to you. You said with comparisons, like people in high school doing like I call it like the dead grandma contest. Where you're sitting there talking about like how bad something happened to you, and then someone else is just like, you went to a funeral. My grandma died of cancer in front of my eyes. I'm like, okay, like why did you bring that up?
Yeah,
now we're both just sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't need to be that way. But yeah, just look at people around you. You don't need to tell people you're putting them in a slot, but just be able to figure out where people make you the most comfortable. And if you stop seeing someone for a little bit, just to give yourself a break from them, and they don't like that very much, maybe things aren't supposed to work out.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And you just both live your lives to be comfortable. Comfortability is key.
Dude, I'm glad we did that right there. That was all three of those. Dude, especially the chameleon kids. I've never heard that before.
Because Malik made that term up.
Right.
We talked so like 2 weeks ago we talked about that exact point because I said I put on a mask. He said he's a chameleon kid, which I think makes more sense. I think it's better. So
Dude, that's amazing.
beating myself up
No, the
for the
mask
term I
fits
made up.
because
They're both.
because you also still you don't know what, like, if you had a thing.
Yeah.
When you have a mask, you don't really create a thing. You're just doing stuff.
Yeah.
I had things, but I was just like making them like seem like they were mine.
Yeah.
But that was what I was supposed to do. And if I didn't do this, I had nothing else.
I was like Darth Vader. Like I always had a mask on. And I forgot what I looked like under the mask. Kind of.
Like, ooh.
Yeah. Took it off. I looked like a shriveled up plum.
Okay, before we get into the challenge, why do you think it was the chameleon kid? Like, why were you chameleon kid?
Well, okay, 'cause everything's been like relatively good. I didn't want to get like sad.
Yeah.
Like in my life, I have had 5 different suicide attempts. Most of the time growing up, when I was doing stuff, I was doing it to be able to feel comfortable in like living and like surviving like around the people that I was with. And whenever it got to a point where like it seemed like people weren't really like happy with or accepting who I was with them, I couldn't really figure out, like there'd be times where like I would change up to be someone different, and that felt like it just made stuff worse, because then they were like, why are you acting this way? And I'm like, oh, well then what's the point?
Yeah.
Then also I took other people's, one reason why people need to talk about their mental health is, like, you have people like me, I took other people's problems and made them seem like I was the cause. Took my parents' problems and thought, like, if I just didn't exist, none of this would happen. They'd be cool. It'd be fine. Nothing gives you more of a reality check, at least for me, than waking up from an ambulance ride to the hospital and seeing your mom, like, passed out next to you from crying. And you just gotta sit there and you should be like, I didn't need to put her in the situation.
Yeah.
No matter what was going on for me, it wasn't bad enough to be here and put her here with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then she woke up, and first thing I said was, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
There's no there's no argument. There's no nothing. There's no reason to, because nothing is worth that pain at all.
Mm-hmm.
I know that when Kyle had passed, everyone who loved him wished that they could have a final moment to talk to him. And on that day, I had to tell myself that if I went through with what I tried, no one that I love and no one that loves me would ever have been able to say anything that they wanted to say, because nobody really thinks about that stuff until it's over.
Literally.
You just sit there and you're just like, the last thing I said to somebody was that that I hate you, as a joke. But the last words I said to you was, "I hate you," and then I hung up the phone, or I said, "Deuces, bye."
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. Nobody needs that. And your parents?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I try to not be in a position where I'm living for other people. I need to be able to live for myself. Thankfully, in recent years, I've been better on that. Not being around other people made that a little difficult, because then I'm just like, well, I need to find hobbies, because I'm just doing the same thing every day, just sitting around, going to work, come back, sit around, go to sleep, eat, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really living, and I need to feel like I didn't, stick around for nothing.
Yeah.
People like y'all that help me feel better about myself, no matter what's going on. Like you said, everybody's got bad stuff going on, but it doesn't mean that your life's bad. My life, I can look at it one way and say my life has sucked, and then another way is like, I've had a lot of bad moments in my life, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I now have a loving girlfriend. I'm a lot closer with my family now, not because of what happened, but just because since then I try to look at myself in a different way, and being able to, communicate with people a little more. Everybody out there, if your grandparents or extended family are still, with you, talk to them. Just say hi. I talked to my grandma the other day for the first time. I saw her for the first time in months, and we just talked for an hour. It was great.
That is good.
I don't even remember what we talked about.
Yeah.
Because she's a little old lady. But I felt humbling, but also just genuinely happy that I was able to be with her and live with her.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, conversations are so important. You could literally not be here today because of a conversation that went unhad, It's so important. You have to talk about these things. Don't keep it in, because the things that we keep in, that's where the devil comes and just fight. He just feeds into it, wants to convince you that your life is not worth living, goes against our message of our brand, and then we start to believe these things to be true, and the next thing you know, we make a decision that was permanent. That would be that's a permanent decision. You cannot come back from it, but all the problems you face in your life are temporary. So just hang in there, don't give up, and to really get through things, talking about it, so important. This is fire, dude. This is such a good episode. I love this. Anything you want to say, Spencer, or do you want to get into the challenges?
I can do the challenge, but I have a question about it. Can I give a really cliche one that has a good message behind it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So
right, you first.
My cliche one, and it's got a little added to it, is do a small act of kindness to a stranger. A little thing is don't tell anyone about it. Because I've noticed that I'll go do, I was leaving work one time, there's a thrift store next to it. And there was this dude and then his small wife and this small lady working there trying to get a whole dresser out. And I went over and I helped him. And then I was like, I could have just done that. And that is all that needed to be done.
Yeah.
But I called McKenna. I was like, guess what I just did? And I came in work and I was like, guess what I... And that's fine. That's okay to do that. You should. You were a good person. Tell the story. It's an interesting story. There was other... But, it means so much more. The small things that I've done that I've forgotten about it at this point. That I think that means so much more because it came from a place of just goodness and just being a nice fellow human being. So go do something nice to a stranger that is just you, no one else knows about, and don't tell anyone. Just go do it.
That is a power, dude. That's not cliche though. That's like one of the best challenges I've heard.
Well, the act of kindness is cliche, but the meaning behind it, I like.
Dude, because it's so true. Like, I remember I gave a guy, shout out Super Saiyan Bulldog, he made the intro sound for the podcast for this season. But he wanted to buy a hoodie from me. This is like season 2 drop, like right at the beginning. And it was also when I had no money to be doing this. But he really wanted this hoodie from me, but he had no money. So I said, hey, pull up to the skate park and I'll give it to you. And he's like, bro, I don't really have money. And I was like, well, just pull up and we'll do a little photo shoot. And that's all it was going to be. So I ended up giving him the hoodie. And I did that just because I love this dude and I wanted him to wear the brand. But I ended up telling Macy, my whole family, all these people. And it's like, did I do that because of loving, like a act of love? Yes. But then I started bragging about it, like not really bragging, but just kind of wanting everybody to know. So, dude, I love that right there. That was great.
Yeah, and I think the biggest part is doing it with a stranger. Like,
yeah,
because
exactly.
if I do it to a family member, or a friend, or someone at work, then you maybe are kind of like, I'm not going to tell anyone, but I hope they do. If I do it to a stranger, there's no shot anyone I know is going to learn about it.
True. No, that's fire. All right, there's challenge number 1.
Follow that.
You gotta
up,
actually
punk.
do it though. Yeah, follow that up.
I'm gonna go along with find. That's a good number. I'm not trying to do too much.
4.
4 people that you were cool with. You don't see them really at all. Like you may be in a couple group chats of people from like high school or something that you may catch up with like 2 times a year, but like somebody that you really haven't talked to in at least a year. Hit them up. Be as casual as you want, but just find some way to lead into like how they're actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask how they're doing, they say good. I'm just working. That's not an answer.
Yeah,
like it is, but I'm done. It's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Get a good answer out of them. Just hit them up. Find some way to have both of you communicate in how you are doing, and see where it goes from there.
Mm-hmm. There we go. 4 people right there. So you got 2 challenges this week.
That was a good
Very
number.
on
I
it.
just guessed, but that was a pretty good number.
It was.
I like it.
At first, I thought like for some reason the number came up in 10, as if we were in like school.
10 is a
Like, I'm not fine.
lot.
I don't know 10 people off the top of my head that I'm just gonna hit up.
When you said 4, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be tough to find 4, but
Yeah, I was thinking 3 or 5. I was like, I'll shoot in the middle.
that's great.
I had no clue what the challenge was. I just said a number.
I remember after high school, I'd always hit up people like, "How you been, bro?" And I'm all right. Like that. They leave it at that. I'm like, bro, you're really uninterested in this conversation.
Yeah, dude, I did that last night with Jack Green, but like we had a good conversation. He said I just swiped up on a story and made some joke, and we talked for like a while.
We did that a lot in college, bro.
Yeah,
it'd be. I think you said this one time. If I called you, you'd have to like really make sure you had 30 minutes.
I needed 30 to 60 minutes free, and like it was great every time. Like not in a bad way, but if I had to like go somewhere in 5 minutes, I'd be like, let me call you later.
Yeah,
because I'm not gonna
real.
make it to that thing in 5 minutes.
That's how me and Randy Sude are now. You know who that is?
Oh, I've heard of
Randy. He lives right by you. He was a grade above us. It's Sydney
Oh wait,
Sude's older brother.
Sydney's brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, if we call, it is no less than an hour every time. And oh my gosh, that's a good friendship though. I'm gonna hit him up. That's one of my 4 people. I haven't talked to him in a while.
I've been thinking of a few people that I think I'm gonna text.
That's
I
fire.
said this, but I have to think of people.
You know, now I have to find a stranger that needs an act of kindness.
Well, that's gotta find someone also that you had like when you were cool. You didn't talk like too much just about random stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I've been thinking of people that like used to be like close friends, like deep friendships that like not that I'm like it's no one that I had like beef with, but it's just people that just like it was a different phase of life.
We were cool.
Yeah,
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like I stopped talking to you because we were just cool, and I didn't see you anymore.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah, a lot of people from college for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Early college and high school, there's a few.
I hung out with you because we were both drunk.
I had math with you, and then we graduated, and then it happened. I'm gonna text Luke Grimm. He's famous. He probably won't answer.
I hit him up to get on the podcast. Got left on open.
He's at practice.
Yeah. He's been at practice for like a year and a half though.
No, he was a dope dude. Shout
out
he
Luke
was
Grimm.
sick.
It might work out someday. He probably was just busy and then was like read it and then was like, I don't know. Podcast. I'm not trying to talk.
Is it sport? It's not a sports podcast.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't even know what I'd talk about. It'd just be cool.
No, me and him, we were like decently close in high school and just drifted up. Like anytime we had a class together, it was always a good time. But no, he was a great dude.
Yeah, he is. All right, so we are gonna end this because I have to go. Literally, you should have left 17 minutes ago, but it's okay. And we gotta make another episode, y'all.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get into anything that I thought. Like, I wanted to ask those two questions we talked about. What is a good thing you've been going through with your mental health, and then what is something you're struggling with? We never asked that. We just went for an hour and 15.
55 minutes in, we got in his application. We haven't. I don't know what I wrote on mine, but we didn't ever look at it. I didn't write as much as him anyway. So I think that's the best. We did that on our first episode. I think when conversation just flows, it flows better.
So we'll have to do this again sometime. Maybe we could.
If you insist.
What if you guys got 2 episodes on the mental health season?
I'm gonna say no.
I could be convinced.
I mean, if I have a lot of other people I got to record with.
It doesn't have to be this season either.
We'll make it happen.
We'll figure something out.
For
Part 2.
We'll see what's going. We'll see what happens. But hey, follow those challenges. Shout out to anybody who's still watching. Make sure to drop a comment of your favorite moment from this podcast because, like I said earlier in the season, if you leave a comment, 1 comment equals 1 entry to win a free T-shirt. And I'm still taking the comments from that year straight that never happened. Those comments also count for this season. That didn't happen. But drop a comment. 1 comment is 1 entry to win a free shirt at the end of the season. And yeah, love to hear your thoughts anyways. I realized when I turned the thing down, I turned yours down, not mine. So that was dumb, bro. I realized that. Like, he was saying his deep story, and I'm just looking, I'm like, I'm an idiot.
It was so loud. I was like, there's no shot. Like, you turned it most of the way down.
Yeah. Right, let's try it.
Use her bubbles.
Hey, shout out to everybody who watched this. Shout out to Malik. That was fire, bro. Spencer, as always. This is a good outro song.
And then you slowly bring it down.
No, they're right here.
And then we keep talking. And then we keep talking. You slowly lose us. Okay, let's just go.